Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Mark here. Check this out. So you got my video footage overlapping one of my reviews of Dragon Ball Super Episode 2. Now, as you know, we already covered the events of Dragon Ball Super Episode 1, and we talked about some speculation of what at least I personally...
Hey, what are you doing?
Dino, what are you doing
What
here?
are you doing? I already covered this, Mark!
This is my channel! You have your own channel!
What? I enjoyed Episode 2 so much, I guess I'll just stick around.
So you're gonna hang out and you're gonna join my...
Yep.
Are you guys watching Episode 2 without me?
Thundershot,
Hey,
what are you
Thundershot's
doing here? You know what? You guys have your own channels, and you guys are way more popular than I am. I'm new to this.
Wait a minute. I thought Thundershot was black.
Thundershot is white? When did this happen? Alright, well...
No comment.
Regardless, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Dragon Ball Super Episode 2, and we've got Dino Rhymestyle here and Austin Thundershot69, or 75 if you follow him on Twitter. Regardless, Thundershot's with us. We're going to talk about the episode a little bit. So, anyway, moving right along. So, Dragon Ball Super Episode 1 covers some bases and introduces Beerus for the first time. Now, Dragon Ball Super takes place before the events of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, which means it's significantly before and even overlaps the events of Dragon Ball Z. Now, in the first episode of Dragon Ball Super, we didn't even see Vegeta. So, be praised, Dragon Ball Super Episode 2 does show off Vegeta. Now, here's the cool thing. If we're trying to figure out the timeline of events, do you remember in Dragon Ball Z when Vegeta and Trunks are training, and Vegeta as a Super Saiyan looks at Trunks, and Trunks transforms into a Super Saiyan? This is in the same episode. And he says, Trunks, if you can land a single hit on me, I will take you to the park. Well, Trunks jumps in there and BLAM! Hits Vegeta right across over on the cheek, and then Vegeta smashes him in the face and says, wipe your tears, bro, we're gonna go to the park. Well, this episode of Dragon Ball Super follows those events. So, jumping right into that, Vegeta here takes Trunks and Bulma out for a night on the town, or I guess a day on the town, right?
Which is funny because this is the best parenting Vegeta's ever done to his son, and it's just like...
And it's still really bad if you watch it.
It's horrible, but yeah, horrible parenting.
Now, one thing I have to kind of go with this a little bit, I believe in the episode, maybe some of you guys can go back and double check and confirm for me, but I believe in the episode where Vegeta gets hit in the face, he immediately takes Trunks to the park. Like, he throws his jack at him. He says, put this on, we're going to the park right now. And this would have to be either some kind of flashback or some kind of back-in-time thing in Super where it does immediately overlap with Z, or it's just something that doesn't follow the continuation exactly as is. Maybe the manga was a little bit different from the DBZ episode, but that is something that I caught.
But you know what's interesting too, because it also raises the question, because if you recall, Trunks reveals that he's a Super Saiyan to Vegeta for the first time. In the same episode, I think, maybe the episode before, Goten also reveals that he's a Super Saiyan. And this is significant because they show off their Super Saiyan forms during the events of the World Martial Arts Tournament where Gohan is jumped on by Spopovich and Yamu to collect energy from Majin Buu. Now, in episode 1 of Dragon Ball Super, we already saw that Majin Buu is present during the series, so it is sort of confusing with the timeline that now Vegeta is trying to fulfill that promise when this looks like it was the events before Majin Buu's introduction. However, Majin Buu is already in the series, so I'm actually with you on that. I think that it could possibly be a flashback, because that would make a little bit more sense, right?
I don't know, unless Vegeta's just like, yeah, we'll go to the park now, 6 months later.
6 months. I like to believe that it's 6 months later just because, again, this is the best parenting Vegeta's done to his son, and it's just like, not really parenting, it's just...
There is a certain sentiment,
parenting.
There is a certain sentiment, though, that can be said about Vegeta, because Bulma does recognize that Vegeta's kind of watered himself down a little bit ever since Majin Buu, which is weird, because again, in the same episode... Oh, actually, that's it right there. So Bulma tells Vegeta that after he fought Majin Buu with Goku, well, you know what? Didn't the defeat of Majin Buu, how long did that take? That was only a few days, right? Because Majin Buu, they fought Majin Buu, then Majin Buu required some training, and that's when Goten and Trunks went into the time chamber to do some work, like 6 weeks, I think, to kind of get stronger so they can be Gotenks and take on Evil Buu, right? So, if you really think about it, even though Dragon Ball Z drags on their episodes for so long sometimes, it probably only was less than a week since those events, right?
I guess that makes sense. He probably couldn't go to the park because Buu showed up and stuff.
Hey, let's go to the park. Oh, wait, we gotta fight this guy. He's gonna kill everybody,
That
so...
pink guy, World Martial Arts Tournament.
Oh, such a bummer. Well, okay, so anyway, so the whole episode really kind of covers Vegeta and his involvement with Trunks and Bulma, and kind of just covering up what's going on with them. Again, Dragon Ball Super does seem to be something that's going to be taking place for a long period of time before we even catch up to the final episode of Dragon Ball Z, which, at this point, could be anyone's guess, they might actually ignore and retcon those events, which what that means is you take existing events, and then you remove those events entirely and ignore them. Kind of like how Dragon Ball GT has been ignored, and Dragon Ball Super, while it overlaps Z, is likely going to replace Dragon Ball GT, right? Didn't we decide that was probably what's going to happen?
GT doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
It's not even within the manga.
Talk about GT.
Yeah, GT is just that's that one kid that you don't really talk about at school. He kind of eats by himself over at the lunch tables and he plays Magic cards by himself. Well, Magic cards are cool actually, so maybe that's not.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't know if you guys wanted to
Pokemon.
cover anything else as far as Vegeta's adventure, but coming up here is my favorite scene where they're all gathered around and everybody's dancing. They're having like a luau at night and they're singing songs, and for whatever reason, the guy on stage decides to call out Vegeta.
You know, I would say
That's
probably one of the more significant events here, because it shows that while Vegeta puts up with the events of the day with Bulma and Trunks for quite a period of time throughout literally the entire afternoon, evening into this night, Vegeta's going to a luau. I think the Prince of Saiyans is going a little bit soft until he kind of goes a little bit angry and decides that he's not going to have any more of this fun night. So he pieces out.
What's funny is a lot of us predicted that the scene of him powering up that we saw in the teaser was actually Vegeta possibly going Super Saiyan God, but it's actually the complete opposite. It's just him getting mad at everybody around him
He just gets pissed in pieces.
and flies out.
You know, I thought that too, because the intro does kind of show off a couple of very interesting things. You'll notice that Vegeta and Goku are fighting some enemies that are wearing Saiyan armor. However, in the events of Battle of God or Resurrection F, where Frieza's men come in and they're all wearing Saiyan armor, Vegeta and Goku both not only were wearing different outfits in this intro, but they also were on the planet where Whis and Beerus were at. They weren't present during those events to fight anyone wearing any Saiyan armor. So it does raise the question that where are these guys coming from that are wearing Saiyan armor, and who are they with? Are they part of Cooler's regime? He's not in the manga, I don't think. He's not considered canon, right?
No, I'm pretty sure what that is just rewriting how Resurrection F is going to be, and it probably means that we'll see Goku and Vegeta fight along the Z Warriors when the invasion actually happens, which would be interesting because maybe the whole fight between Frieza and Goku is going to turn to Frieza versus Goku and Vegeta. Maybe he won't even be Super Saiyan God with the blue hairs yet. Who knows?
It's quite interesting because the events of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F are also manga, but they're being written within the episodes of Dragon Ball Super, so it really kind of means that the events of those movies might be changed entirely. Those movies might be considered non-canon versions of the events that take place within the series. So
it's outlines.
Yeah, it could be. That could very well be the case.
One of my favorite parts, actually, in this episode was actually going back to Beerus and Whis and seeing more of that story develop where they're actually seeking out the Super Saiyan God. And we see actually Beerus fight, which excites me.
Yes.
He fights, he obviously wrecks him, he shows up a new ability, which we haven't seen yet, where he basically uses telekinesis powers to toss an attack back at the alien that's fighting with just one finger. And then we see him drop a tiny speckle of just energy and just blows up the planet. And then he remembers the Super Saiyan God and look into the explosion. He's like, he sees into the fire like in Game of Thrones. He sees into the fire, and then he...
Game of Thrones reference, the Lord of Fire into Dragon Ball Z. That's a crossover I didn't think I would ever see.
He sees the fire, he sees the Super Saiyan God, and then basically the episode ends with them, Whis and Beerus, going back to the planet so they can basically seek out the Super Saiyan God, which is very different in the manga, because in the manga what happened was we saw Beerus sitting down at the planet. He eats a soup that sounds like Super Saiyan Goto, Super Saiyan Goto, or something like that, and that's what makes him think about Super Saiyan God. So
Super Saiyan Goto.
Here, he triggers the memory by blowing up the planet and seeing the figure in the fire of the destruction of the planet. They just looked at cute four-eyed things that were just trying to eat some dinosaur meat.
Game of Ball Z.
Game of Ball Z, I like that. Now, however, one of the other significant things, like you said, is Beerus and Whis' presence within this episode too, because these guys, they're really showing off their characters, and we've already known that Beerus, being the god of destruction, Beerus the Destroyer, Lord Beerus the Destroyer, he really doesn't put up with a whole lot. It doesn't take much for him to literally blow up the planet, and it also doesn't take much for him to get enough energy to blow up the planet like that. Now, you remember that when Frieza blew up planet Namek, it took him a significant amount of time to gather enough energy to destroy that planet. Beerus, it's literally less than a second, and he doesn't have to do more than raise a single finger to do it.
He can even just tap his nail down, which we saw in the previous episode.
It's true, yeah.
Something I want to point out is I'm noticing that Beerus is being portrayed a lot stronger than he was, because when Goku went Super Saiyan God in the movie Battle of Gods, they had a pretty intense fight. You know, he kind of kept having some loss, but Beerus seemed to be in the same, not the same level, but somewhere in around close range. Goku's fighting at 70%. No, Goku's fighting at 80%, and Beerus was fighting at 70%. So Beerus was still a lot stronger, but not like on the same level. But even watching that movie, we know Beerus is strong, but after watching the second episode, he seems a whole lot stronger than he actually is. Because he tapped his finger in the first episode, blew up half a planet, and then today he dropped a little speckle, like a little speckle, he freaking glittered, energy glitter, onto that world and blew it up.
Now, one thing I've always kind of said, if you guys have seen any of my stuff, I don't mind the idea of them rewriting Battle of Gods, but I like Battle of Gods so much that I would hope like when they show the episode, they just could practically just straight show the part of Battle of Gods when that happened, because I like Battle of Gods so much, I didn't want it to be changed. Like I said, I had faith in Akira if they did decide to rewrite over it, but after being able to kind of see these first 2 episodes, seeing what Beerus and Whis are doing, it's pretty much just giving us more insight, and it almost makes us look like Battle of Gods, it was as if they had to rush those scenes, which it isn't, they were just making the movie, but now they really get to take their time and explain and storytell, and like Rhymestyle just said, build out and give Beerus and Whis more character and show us just how strong Beerus really is and how much he deserves to be feared.
That's the one thing I was looking forward to in the Dragon Ball Super Battle God Saga, is that character development that we never got in Battle Gods. So I'm excited to see they're actually following through, Toriyama's following through and giving us more insight of these amazing characters.
That is the next point that I wanted to make, though. Dragon Ball Super does seem to be just a bit about character development. It's not really showing us a whole lot of the story of things that we don't know. We already knew that Beerus destroyed things, we knew that Whis overlooked him as his companion, and we knew that Goku and Vegeta were living lives of peace, trying to find a way to deal with that Saiyan drive to fight. And we're kind of seeing that a little bit here now with Vegeta being able to kind of work on his training a little bit, but he's distracted so much about still being second best. I mean, that guy will not let it go. And as said within Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, that Vegeta's main problem is that he's worried about others far too much as opposed to his own training, because his training motivation is specifically the fact that other people are better than him, and that's not enough. Goku wants to be the best because that's what he wants to do for himself, but not because he wants to be better than somebody else, which sounds a little bit silly, but he doesn't use other people as his motivation. He is his own motivation, while, unfortunately, Vegeta is not the same.
You were waving your hands a lot, so I started waving my hands too.
I do talk with my hands a little bit. I do speak with my hands quite a bit. I mean, I don't really know what's going on, but I do all sorts of crazy things when I'm working on that.
No, what's funny is every time you wave your left hand, I keep thinking it's Thundershots. I'm like, Thundershot's finger? Oh, wait, no, that's your hand. Because it pops up like...
Yeah, see, I can just play with different hands. It's just like, oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, they're both my hands. That's crazy. But regardless, anyway, Dragon Ball Super does kind of play with a little bit the original fun of Dragon Ball, which is amazing, while still keeping the action of Dragon Ball Z and delivering on all fronts. Dragon Ball Super is becoming an amazing series, even if the episodes still maintain a little bit of things that we already know, or recaps, or reintroduction of characters, or just expanding on those characters. But either way, if you haven't got a chance to see Dragon Ball Super Episode 2, you can find that online. I'm not going to put that in the description just because, unfortunately, I want to support the original release, but it's
KissAnime.com. I don't know where to find it, you just gotta Google search on it.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Super Episode 2, you can find it, the subtitles are there. It debuts every single Sunday on 9 a.m. on Fuji TV in Japan.
Which is Saturday here.
That's true, which is Saturday here.
But Sunday morning, you should get a subtitle version. So
yeah,
Sunday morning.
It does seem, we've gotten 2 episodes, and while that hasn't been enough to be consistent, we do believe that likely you're going to see that episode almost immediately on a Saturday, which is great for watching the anime.
Now, one thing I'm looking forward to as far as future Dragon Ball Super episodes come, I don't know how long it'll take. Maybe it'll be episode 3, maybe it'll be episode 17, maybe it won't happen until Battle of Gods is actually supposed to happen.
Put it back.
I'm looking forward for the first. I'm looking forward to the first real fight that we're going to see. Like, we see Beerus kind of like crap on some nub who isn't that strong in this episode. But what I would want to see is maybe not Beerus, because there's not going to be anybody who can probably fight Beerus unless him and Champa have a round or two. But I want to see the first real fight, and I don't know if we're going to get to see anything. It's just like a close, good contest between two characters from Dragon Ball until the Battle of Gods arc actually happens. But that's what's going to make it for me when I see that first real good fight from Super, and it reassures me that the fight scenes are going to be just as amazing as most of the ones in Z, where I'm going to be like, okay, Super is the real deal here.
The final thing that I want to say, and we were having a conversation about this earlier, and then we'll end the video, but I do want to say that Dragon Ball Super has already been promised to be at least 100 episodes.
That's not true. That's actually
it's not true.
That was a placeholder.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, regardless, Dragon Ball GT was what, 64 episodes? Dragon Ball, the original series was a couple hundred episodes.
276.
And then Dragon Ball Z was about 278, something like that, I think, right?
I want to say Z was significantly longer.
No, Z was 276. Dragon Ball was like 120.
Okay.
I remember.
That sounds more right, but
okay.
I know Z was significantly
Z was 276, and then Kai
Okay.
was like 100 for the Cell Saga. And then with Boo, probably like 130, 140.
That was significant, yeah, that saga was certainly long. But the thing is, and why I even bring that up, because we were kind of debating and discussing it before, is that Dragon Ball Super, there's a lot of time to get to from now all the way until the events of Resurrection F, and then even further beyond the final episode of Dragon Ball Z. So there is a lot to discover, and with all these different universes, all the different gods, and the new characters, and of course, the characters within Dragon Ball's universe, which I'm hoping some of them cross over into Dragon Ball Super, because that'd be sick. Bring back Future Trunks, please!
I want to see Future Trunks.
I want that so
I don't
bad.
want to see anybody else, but if Future Trunks is one person to pick, I want to see him. That's why I'm taking this as a payment. This is mine now. He has the originals.
I
To
do.
those who know me, I love these, and he has this one. I never got this. And to those who know what this is, you know the value of this.
I've got a few coming up on here. You've got Super Saiyan Vegeta and then some other ones. You know what? It doesn't matter. Who cares about the collection? You've seen it.
The reflection of the video of Dragon Ball Super showed up in in your. We're gonna contact claim.
No!
We're gonna contact claim now.
Oh well. Well, regardless, guys, Dragon Ball Super Episode 2 is out now. Be sure to check that out next Saturday or any Saturday. Look for the further episodes. I'll be doing reviews, and maybe I'll have these jokers around a little bit every once in a while talking about some stuff with me. But check out their channels, description below. I'll link them within the video as well. I will place them right here. See if I can put the links right here on my hands. Right here. You guys are... I don't know what's happening anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, provide some commentary down below, or provide some feedback. I'm always asking for that. Much appreciated. Thank you. I will see you guys next time. Peace, y'all. Say bye, guys. You gotta say bye. What do you do?
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Laters.